Welcome everyone to Goodnight and Good Game, your source for geek news for the weeks that were. I'm your host James, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host Hector.
Hello.
And our fantastic producer John.
It's me.
This week on the show, after the news, we're going to talk about the recent EA buyout and what that move could mean for the rest of the games industry. But before we start, don't forget that you can head over to goodnight.gg, where as a patron of our show, you can suggest topics for us to talk about. Also, as a patron, you get access to our off-week episodes. We are now in Season 2 of our Tales from the Crypt recap and rewatch, It's only $1 to join our Patreon. All right, with all of that out of the way, it's time to get into the Weekly Raid.
The Weekly Raid.
Welcome, everyone, to the Weekly Raid, your roundup of this week's geek news. So back in August, we talked about how the upcoming remake of The Toxic Avenger used their marketing budget to work with the Undue Medical Debt nonprofit to wipe out $5 million worth of medical debt for those that were in need, and they pledged to do more as the film made money on release. As of this last week, The Toxic Avenger has helped clear $15 million of medical debt, and they do not plan to stop there, as The Toxic Avenger is now available for purchase for video-on-demand services such as Prime Video.
So we recently watched this, and we'll talk more about our opinion on the movie itself later. But the plot point in the movie, the reason we get a toxic crusader, is because a man can't afford his health insurance. You know, much like the Breaking Bads of the world, if there's a reason to break bad, it's because you're being murdered by society and the place you work for. So I get it. And having a movie with that kind of message and that kind of, thought put into it, and then it being such a hilarious, like, B-level movie that knows exactly what it is, and it's just having the most fun with it. This couldn't come from a better place. I mean, it really couldn't. It's amazing, and it's brave, and it's deserving, and it's awesome. And we should have so many more things that do stuff like this.
For everybody that has worked on this movie to just say, hey, you know what, any kind of profit we're making from this movie, they already paid the actors out, just give the rest to pay off medical debt for people. Jesus Christ. I mean, so cool. It's so nice to start the news with something nice, isn't it, everyone?
Yeah.
He said foreshadowingly. All right, it is spooky season time, and what's spookier than a good PBS documentary? On October 25th, PBS is going to be airing a 2-part, 3-hour film called In Search of Edgar Allan Poe that will talk about the life, the myths, and the legends of the historic writer.
I mean, sweet. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the last time I watched a PBS documentary, but I remember really liking them.
The Roosevelts?
No, definitely not.
How dare you?
Yeah, I mean, Edgar Allan Poe, I mean, obviously there's a lot of legend there. There's, a lot of history as well. And I certainly, for one, could not myself separate fact from fiction just off the top of my head. Sure. So it seems fascinating, honestly.
He was such a bigger deal than people make him out to be. Sure, he's a big deal, especially to us goths, right? Like, we are all Poe-infused people, but not only was he a writer, but he was also somebody who edited for publishing companies and wrote reviews of literature, and he was so much more than just like.
So he was a writer who needed a job.
He was a writer who needed a job. They will probably perhaps go into the story of how he married his 13-year-old, I want to say cousin.
Oof.
And the reason for it was that she was in an abusive household, and that's the only way he could get her out of there.
Oh.
So they'll probably...
That's a story with so many layers.
They'll probably touch on that a little bit. Yeah, Poe had a very fascinating life that was more than just, I wrote sad poetry that goths fuck over.
Right. How do I get my cousin out of her abusive family? I'll just marry her.
Right.
Said no insane person ever.
Right. So yeah, I'm excited. A good PBS documentary for spooky season. It'll be just before we leave for Japan, so I'll definitely have to check that out. So in October of 2013, a little comic called Afterlife with Archie came out from Archie Comics, written by one Roberto Aguirre Sacasa. Now, that little comic was so popular that it eventually led to the creation of the wild CW show called Riverdale. Now, in the years since the end of Riverdale, Archie Comics and the team behind Riverdale are actually working with Disney Plus to make a 1-hour adaptation of the original zombie apocalypse Afterlife with Archie show.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean that sounds really cool. As a lover of Riverdale and Sabrina from Netflix, it sounds good.
Has there ever been a drunk history of Archie?
If there hasn't been, there should be.
There absolutely should be.
I would get drunk and tell that history, because Archie Comics is basically just like very bland up until you get to about the 2010s, and then that's when the weird shit starts happening, and that's where you get Riverdale, that's where you get Afterlife with Archie and all of that good stuff. So if there is not a drunk history on Archie Comics, oh man, it
would have to be so long, because you have to explain what a penny comic was, and the fact that you would get them at a grocery store and not a comic shop and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but it would be a really fun drunk history, and I bet you I could probably pull together the script for something like that.
Oh yeah.
All right, what else we got here? Anything else fun for spooky season? Oh, you know what? I got something here. This is nothing sacred anymore news. Netflix has ordered a new unscripted competition series based on the board game Clue.
Huh.
According to Bloody Disgusting, quote, contestants will face physical and mental challenges to collect clues before stepping into a real-life game of deduction and deception. To win, they'll have to outwit opponents and identify the who, the where, and the what of the crime.
Did somebody say Clue was sacred?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Clue. I don't know, man.
It was a really incredible movie.
It was a fantastic movie.
It's a fun movie.
It's a pretty great board game.
I question. I don't know. It sounds like something that naturally lends itself to a competition show.
Yeah, kinda. I don't know how you make a show like this without scripting it to make it interesting.
Well, I will say this. Whenever I've sat down to play Clue, when I first played Clue as a kid, it was just a silly, wacky game or whatever. Mm-hmm. But when I was in college and I sat down to play Clue with my wannabe join the FBI girlfriend at the time, it turned into a fucking ordeal. I was like, we suck at Clue. I didn't know we all sucked at Clue except you. Jesus. Okay.
Wow.
So it can be a real game of strategy. She's literally taking notes on everybody's answers and cards, and I was like,
wow, that is an impressive level of just dedication to Clue right there.
Yeah. I mean, as long as this show isn't run by Mr. Beast, I'm in. You know,
right? That's all I care about.
As long as they're not you died, time to put you in the torture chamber.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential here. I don't know, man. I'm just become so soured on Netflix and the way that they handle things sometimes that I'm just I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, again, it's going to be a Clue competition show. So there you go. So let's head over into video game news. Now that we've had so much fun, let's get into video games. If you were hoping that we would hear news about a Helldivers 2 sequel soon, you're going to be waiting a long time, as Arrowhead Studios has announced this week that their hope is to keep the game going indefinitely, quote unquote, like RuneScape.
Like RuneScape.
That is a comparison.
Oh my.
If any recent Helldiver if the recent updates are any indication, by the way, there's still plenty of fuel left in the Super Earth tank. We just got the Xbox players to show up. So
yeah, I mean that for context, RuneScape was kind of old when I was in high school.
It's still around.
I graduated from high school in 2003. So, yeah. I don't get me wrong. I hope this game lasts that long. I could see it as a platform just, getting older and older and having more and more content or maybe different content. But I like this idea. I don't know if anyone was clamoring for a Helldivers 3. Helldivers 2 is great, and it's there, and you can go play it right now. And bring your friends, because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, the fantastic RPG that we covered at length last episode, is getting a major update out of nowhere. Developers Sandfall Interactive have said that the free update is a thank you to fans. It will include a new area, new boss fights, costumes, as well as new localizations. This announcement hits as sales of the game have hit over 5 million copies globally.
Ha, awesome. When I think about that studio and how they probably expected this game to do versus how it did.
They were probably hoping for like 100,000 people to buy it.
They're like, look, we're releasing this technically AA RPG out into the world. It's a little weird. It's a little off kilter.
It has a parry system.
It's very, very French. Like, I don't know who all this is for. I don't even know if there's an audience for this. Turns out there was, and it was huge because it's amazing.
But wait a minute, isn't the story done?
Oh, the story's done.
Yeah, the story was done several hours before I finished playing the game.
Oh,
so you can keep going, and there's more things and more to uncover, and more depth to everything around you.
There's also New Game Plus.
Yeah, there's also New Game Plus. It's just a great time.
Yeah, this is just the sign of a developer who loves the project. This is the first project from this team. Them doing all of this, they didn't have to. The game is already wildly successful. They just wanted to say thank you for all the things that other people have said about this game, as we did ad nauseum last week.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best part about like something like a stretch goal, right? Like the game gets made and it sold so many copies that they're like, hey, everything we left on the cutting room floor, we can go finish that.
Yep.
While we're brainstorming our next project. And it's really cool to see it.
And everything that we know about this, as we talked about last week, is that Claire Obscure is the name of the franchise.
Right.
So much like Final Fantasy is the name of the franchise. So Expedition 33 was just this singular story that we've learned. Whatever happens next, I'm excited for.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you were wondering why gaming news has been so happy this week, don't worry, because it would not be a week if we didn't cover recent industry layoffs.
Yeah, back to normal.
Heart Machine, the developers of the Hyper Light games, have had to make more layoffs in their studio. And this is after a series of layoffs back in 2024. Heart Machine has said that they are still going to polish and complete the game that they're currently working on, which is, I believe, Hyper Light Breaker.
Right.
They've said, quote, "We still have something coming in January. We plan to deliver something meaningful and polished and complete as we can, given our current circumstances. We're doing our best to refine what we can, complete key systems, and have the game culminate in a satisfying punctuation point."
Yeah. This, if you can please pardon the pun, is pretty heartbreaking for me. This studio came out as a single developer who was eventually able to hire a couple of people because they had a very successful Kickstarter and made Hyper Light Drifter a really, really excellent game. And since then, they've had a couple of projects that did okay. One of them just kind of released on a Game Pass, and I can't imagine that they made any money from that. And then they wanted to release Hyper Light Breaker, but instead of making another game like Drifter and then making it 3D, which would have been amazing, they went ahead and made it like a multiplayer kind of like survival sort of thing, which I get that's what people make, and that's, what was making money at the time, but it kind of feels like you don't believe in your own project.
Yeah.
And it came out, it was a very, very ambitious project. And when it came out to early access, a lot of people were just not digging it at all. And there's a lot to fix about it and a lot to get right. That is just, according to the audience that did buy it early to play it, it's just a wrong thing with the product. And that's upsetting. They also have a really cool looking 2D side scroller kind of Metroidvania coming out here before long that also seems very cool. So, I wish the studio all the best. Unfortunately, it feels like a case of, your next project being a little bit more than you can chew on, and or just not really having your heart in it. I don't know how to say that any other way.
Yeah, and this is, again, like we were saying, this is really sad because this is like a small indie studio. Like, a lot of people do love the Hyper Light games. They're talked about with like this reverence of how challenging they are, but how satisfying the challenge is. And to hear that they've kind of reached this point where they're stuck and they've had to downsize. This is interesting, especially because we're looking at what we will be talking about here in a minute is a lot bigger companies having to downsize. And the thing about it is, and this is just personal conjecture here, with a lot of those studios that are bigger, they could probably figure out a way to have made it work. The smaller studios being hit, it's hard to say. It's hard to make a prediction as to what they could have done differently to salvage the people that they could for their teams. But, when it comes to your AAA studios, man, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's when a company has only its one revenue stream, and you can't make payroll, you can't make payroll. But yeah, with the Microsofts of the world where they're literally just hemorrhaging money from everywhere, it doesn't have to all go into AI data centers. You could retain some talent for your artistic endeavors if you gave a shit.
Their last quarter wasn't as big as the next quarter
we are
could
going
be.
to get into that.
Then they should take their billionaires and take them to a very tall cliff and leave them there and see if they want to jump off on their own.
Next up in big sad video game news, developer Starbreeze, the group behind the Payday series, announced this week that they have canceled their upcoming Dungeons & Dragons project as they are laying off about 44 people in their company and are solely going to work on more Payday projects. The cancellation of the game cost Starbreeze about $27 million. And it wouldn't be a layoff announcement if I didn't have a shitty PR response from Starbreeze to read, so here we go. This redeployment strengthens ongoing delivery, reduces reliance on external recruitment, and ensures expertise is concentrated where it creates the most impact. Where internal opportunities are limited, Starbreeze will provide active support for affected employees to transition to new roles across the industry.
God damn it, this is literally kind of a AA game about robbing banks.
Yep.
Why do we have to get this shit from the studio? Like why? I'm just hearing that just made me sick.
Think about let's break this down.
That sounds like one of the villains of a Doctor Who episode.
Straight up.
They are a company that just lost $27 million by canceling this D&D project they were working on because they thought it was more financially feasible to lay a bunch of people off and then go work on more Payday projects because theoretically, I cannot speak for Starbreeze Studios, those games have microtransactions and could bring in more money for them.
Yep, straight up.
Our goal is to keep Payday evolving as a modern live engagement game.
Yeah, and it became one of those games with a bunch of stores and a bunch of, you can buy hats to dress up your little dolly while you rob banks. And hopefully you can't buy power because as you play the game more and earn perks, you can use them for better drills or power tools and stuff like that while you rob the bank, while you wait for the police to show up. And that's what, again, when you're playing the game, it feels so counterculture and so hardcore. You're literally waiting for the police to show up so you can shoot them while you steal money from banks. And instead, we get this corpo speak about how, well, we're going to need to have more microtransactions so we don't have to lay off even more people in our bank robbing game.
Yeah.
God damn it. Where is Stephanie Sterling, and I need her back to redo all of that
She is
dialogue.
very busy doing amazing work that I'm glad that she's taking a break from doing what we do because, man, it gets tiring.
Yeah, right.
We used to talk about game news that we like to talk about, everyone. This is why I front load us with really fun movie news is so that we can, get to the back half of this. All right, so when Microsoft announced layoffs earlier this year, one of the projects that was in the works that ended up canceled was an MMO called Project Blackbird. It was described by the team as a cross of Cyberpunk 2077 and Destiny. And the team that were working on it had actually all worked on the Elder Scrolls Online, which, if you don't know, has been wildly successful for ZeniMax. So all of them got laid off. And this week, the team behind Project Blackbird have gotten back together in the face of all these layoffs to make their own studio, completely employee-owned, called Sackbird Studios.
Yes. I love it.
After years in AAA, we wanted the freedom to take smart risks without waiting for a green light or chasing quarterly targets. We are fully employee-owned and funded, which means we only answer to the people who are passionate about our games. We are grateful for our time at ZeniMax Studios. It's shaped us as developers and as people, said Sackbird CEO. When I learned that Blackbird was being canceled and a lot of people were losing their jobs, it lit a fire. We realized the best way to protect our craft and our team was to create a studio where creative independence isn't negotiable.
This is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, more of this, please, from everyone. You don't look at the type of games that are not only going to win Game of the Year this year, but just that have been the most popular and have been, the ones that come forward the most. This is what we need. This is what we need to shake everything up right now. I'm right in the middle of a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time. And playing it, I can't help but be struck with how safe it is and how much it is like the game that came out 5 years ago, even though gaming as a whole and my taste personally, because you grow and you evolve as a human being, have changed. And we need this kind of shakeup. And not only that, but we need video games made by people who are not constantly and frankly inevitably going to lose their jobs. I wish the studio all the best, and I'll be watching very closely because if their game is anything at all like something I will play, I'll make sure to get it.
Also the name, guys.
Oh yeah, Sackbird.
You just fucking nailed it with that one. Way to just say fuck you to the industry. Now, everything that we just talked about and everything that I just mentioned and Hector's been talking about, I want you to put a pin in that. Make a little mental pin because we are going to come back to this in the boss room. Okay. So, it's time for an all-new segment for our show that I'm calling What Did Xbox Do This Week? This is a working title. Maybe you guys can workshop something better. Maybe let us know in the comments.
Well, let's hear how Hector delivers it.
What did Xbox do this week?
What did Xbox do this week?
There you go. All right. Kicking things off. Earlier this month, Microsoft announced a 50% price hike to their Game Pass Ultimate service, making it go from $15 a month to $30. The Game Pass Core tier is being removed and being shifted to the Basic Essential label, which limits the games that you can actually play on Game Pass. Now, this move was met with a huge amount of negative backlash. It was so big that we actually saw the website to cancel Game Pass hit so hard that the site completely crashed.
Good. Cancel Game Pass.
I canceled Game Pass.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's one of the things I did this week.
Hell yeah.
The news hit, and I was like, I can't do this. A, I'm unemployed currently. But B, like, man, that's a fuck you to the wallet right there.
Yeah, and it's not just that. Like, honestly, if you told me that, for $30 a month, I could have access to a library of like 400 games and day one, AAA games that come out for everyone else as well, I'd be like, you know what? That's pretty good value. Game Pass has always been an excellent value. But after everything I said last week, after everything we've talked about with Game Pass in the past, and the way it's devaluing the medium, and which is so much more difficult for video games than it is for something like movies or TV, because movies and TV are so ubiquitous and there's so much of it. Video games are hard. Video games are hard to make, and they don't come out very often. That's why we're only now seeing the fatigue of formulas we've been dealing with for 20 years, whereas with Marvel, it took like 5. Because they just kept coming out, a few a year. Video games aren't like that. So devaluing them has a much larger effect on these games. The reason I think it's too much is because Microsoft has said before, over and over, that these prices wouldn't go up. And now not only has the price gone up, but if you want to keep paying the original price, your choices are truncated.
Right.
And shitification is everywhere and in nearly everything. And I'm starting to vote with my wallet more and more about what I'm willing to accept when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I don't know if that makes me old or what, but we really have to find a way to fight back. And if that means going without, a good value because I don't agree with who I'm buying it from or the decisions that they've made, I'm in. I'm willing to make that choice.
You know what's funny? After all the cancellations, I'm betting the only thing the C-suite at Xbox is thinking is shit. We should have made it triple or quadruple the price.
Yeah.
I mean, now the Xbox co-founder and former team member of Xbox, Laura Fryer, was very open about her feelings on this price hike. So I'm just going to give you her quote directly. Mind you, again, she's no longer with Xbox. With this latest increase to Game Pass, Xbox threw away one of their last advantages. Mm-hmm. They were like the best deal in gaming. With these price hikes, it feels like a betrayal, like greed over gaming. I recognize that this Xbox console generation isn't over yet. It almost certainly is going to be remembered first and foremost for Microsoft's greed. I believe all these changes and drama will harm the Microsoft brand. And it appears that Xbox is moving towards cloud gaming and away from hardware, but it could also just be that they're incompetent and they don't understand what they're doing. They need to rebuild trust with the gamers and their fans. I know people on the Xbox team that are still there, that were there in the early days. They can fix this, and I am rooting for them and wishing for the best.
Yeah, I mean, that's really nice. It's generous to say. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are people who have been there since the beginning. I mean, the Xbox wasn't that long ago. You can have a whole career in just, from the original Xbox to now. But yeah, pretty much since the Xbox One, Microsoft has been just on this downward trend. And we really saw a good uptick when Game Pass first came out because it felt like they saw the future before anyone else did. Yep. And I thought everyone was going to follow them and we'd be up to our asses in Game Passes from all of the, the Sony Pass and the Nintendo Pass. But no, they didn't follow through. They held their tongue and they said, we don't want that kind of change. And they just kind of waited for Xbox to fail the way that it tends to do by getting in its own way.
Yep.
And they were right. Here we are. Microsoft itself feels like it might be ready to drop out of video games altogether and just go all in on AI, which good fucking luck with that.
Yeah. Well, to me, ever since the Xbox One, it's always been kind of that philosophical thought of if you are everything to everyone, then you're nothing to everyone. You know?
I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, it's a really rough space to be in. Okay, so rounding out the Xbox news this week, a report from The Verge has stated that Xbox is currently developing, quote, free Xbox cloud gaming with ads, end quote. As of right now, you would get up to 2 minutes of pre-roll ads before you play a game. Also, their cutoffs would be like about an hour of a game that you get to play. This service will allow players to stream some of the games that they own, along with the free days promotion that Xbox does that lets Xbox players try out select titles on the weekend. Xbox Cloud Gaming is said to be in the works for Xbox, PC, handheld devices, and internet browsers.
No.
That was easy.
Yeah, that's all I got for you. Just absolutely not. I mean, what were we watching the other day? We found out that a movie we wanted to see was on Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. And we were like, oh, they're going to roll an ad in front of it. And we watched the ad and then because we couldn't skip it. The movie started and about 20 minutes into that movie, they rolled another ad and we were like, nope, click. Yep. Absolutely not. I can't imagine being in the middle of a video game I'm enjoying and it just pausing the game to tell me about Raycons. Like, absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, there are moments I literally enjoy in a game that, I missed that. Oh, I missed it again. Fuck it, I'll get it tomorrow. I'll get it later. Mm-hmm. Let alone this. And also, I want all these C-suite people to interview some drug dealers. And be like, okay, so this is how you get them hooked.
Right.
Tell me about some of your best customers. Yeah. They're like, oh shit, they're dead or they're gone or they quit or they're all gone.
Yeah.
The drug dealer model should not be what you're modeling your business after.
Yeah.
This is, again, to go back to all these things that's going on with Xbox right now. Things are not looking good on the Microsoft frontier.
Customer loyalty really is a thing.
We're about to get into a big topic about greed, but before we do, that's everything that we have for the news this week. But stick with us as we get into our main topic in the Boss Room.
Boss Room.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. It's time for the Boss Room, sometimes related to the news, sometimes not. This is the part of the show where we can dive deeper into our opinions on things like this week's topic, the buyout of EA. Before we begin, just a reminder, the Boss Room is the part of the show where we can get into speculation as opposed to just the news, because in our news segment, we very much attempt to stick to the facts. I cite multiple sources when I write my notes, and I try to make everything that we have fact-based, not rumor and speculation. But in the Boss Room, we can do speculation, and we are going to do that. So, let's get everybody caught up on the news first. Over the last couple of weeks, publisher EA, who owns multiple development studios such as BioWare, DICE, and Respawn, was purchased by an investor consortium that includes a Saudi Arabia state-backed investment fund. This purchase will allow EA to go from a publicly traded company to a privately owned one. To quote game developer, the deal will take the form of an all-cash transaction that values EA at about $55 billion. EA said the move will enable it to accelerate innovation and growth to build the future of entertainment while delivering quote-unquote compelling value to all stockholders. Now, this deal also includes Jared Kushner's group Affinity Partners and the private equity firm Silver Lake. EA has stated that the purchase of them will not result in quote-unquote immediate layoffs. Now, this isn't Saudi Arabia's first foray into the world of gaming. Over the last few years, EA is actually, Saudi Arabia has been investing heavily into the world of esports, even building multiple stadiums to host competitions. If you've been following our recent news, you'd know that Saudi Arabia has also been investing in multiple forms of American entertainment, such as shipping our worst comedians ever to put on shows over there, as well as hosting multiple WWE events per year. So, as we get into this conversation, I want us to think about and discuss a few things. First off, is this the direct result of the unsustainable growth that the games industry has been pushing for? Next, will we be seeing more deals like this in the future? And finally, how will this impact the games industry in your eyes? So these are just questions to keep in your head. Let's talk about the fact that the Saudi Arabian company with Jared Kushner's company just bought EA so that they can go private. Hector? Start with you.
Well, infinite growth, right? Like you can't do it. We can't do it. Nobody can do it. It's a made up concept. It is how everyone who makes money from these things wishes it would go. It's more money, not just money every year, which would be nice. It's more money every year, year over year, quarter over quarter. It's horrible. It's a horrible way to run a business. It's a horrible way to philosophize about your future because nothing really works that way. You need to find a stability with the world, with the market, an equilibrium, if you would, with things so that you can continue to do what you do that makes you money and live in harmony with everything around you. It's really not that difficult a concept. But here, in the world under stock markets and everything else, it's laughable. It gets you laughed out of the room. It gets you fired if you're a C-level, or even just talk too loud about it if you're a janitor. So
more likely to get you fired if you're a janitor than a CEO.
Very true. So so when people say, that, EA is going private, your first thought is, oh, that seems like a good thing. They won't do a bunch of dumb bullshit to alienate their customers and the games they play and incentify the games that they play, for profit. That sounds nice. The problem is, I don't think that's the future we're headed towards. I really don't. When I think about, again, going private being a good thing, but when I think about what the country that, used to just own all the oil is needing now that oil is going very quickly out of fashion is money and they're trying to just grab everything that they can that they know makes money, I can't see any of this ending well for anyone. I really can't see the value being upheld by, the orders coming down from a Saudi Arabian company or Jared fucking Kush. It's not going to be good. Whatever it is, I don't think it's going to be good. Is it as bad as the philosophy of infinite growth? I don't know. But I don't think the Saudis are clamoring for EA to go back to the glory days of electronic arts, of making art for the sake of making art and delivering, a product that is tantalizing and challenging to a player that helps.
You're telling me that they're not looking at all of Mass Effect going, man, we need to make some more Mass Effects.
Yeah, no, probably not. They're probably not looking at any of their old franchises that didn't make $1 billion and going, oh, let's do more of that. No, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit what people like. They give a shit what will make them money, what can be made as an esport. That's honestly the thing I'm most afraid of, is EA has a lot of sports games. And those games mean competition. Those games mean, multiplayer events, same as with, fighting games and betting and, shooting games and all of those things. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if that is the primary focus of EA going forward. I really don't see them diving back into the world of, good single player projects that make you think and hope and love and make you really loyal to a studio and make you really want to know what they're going to make next and buy it and give them the benefit of the doubt for it. I don't see outside of independent studios anyone doing that. And, forgive me if I'm wrong, Saudi Arabian company whose name I don't know, but I really don't think I am. I really don't think you're in this to make EA a good company and to take it out of the grind that is, the stock market and just let it, nurture it and let it make good creative endeavors. I think you're here to milk it for all it's worth. And that's, I don't know. I think it might be the trend moving forward because no video game company can be profitable can be increasingly profitable indefinitely.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything to milk. I think they honestly asked, so what thing makes the most money? And it was gaming. Okay, we'll get that thing. No. Don't you want to know how it makes the most money? Don't you want to know why people keep putting and a lot of the money is cyclical in gaming. A lot of the money is gamers of gamers of gamers of gamers. And there's not a lot of 1-to-1. The money just moves from one location to another. And I don't think they asked any of those details. They were what makes most money? We'll buy that. We'll buy biggest one.
Yeah. And where's the one that, makes at least this much money every year? Will it keep doing that? Cool. We'll buy that. And then we'll start making a lot of stupid demands on their time and energy. And, hopefully we'll still be able to get all that, get that money every year, and they'll be happy. And all the people who owned it will be happy because we'll have given them $55 billion, which we're going to make back in a day in oil money. So it's whatever.
I would like to say, it could not have happened to a better company.
I agree. A little bit, I wish it had happened to Ubisoft, but EA is a very nice close second.
Somehow Saudi Arabia would have less sexual harassment than Ubisoft currently
and Saudi Arabia took sexual harassment out of the world by buying Ubisoft.
Okay. One of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this is it was a really big deal in the news. Also, I have been following this chain of events for quite a while. It's something that I'm passionate to talk about. By passionate, I mean I stay up late reading about it because I hate myself. In the world of esports, Saudi Arabia, like I said earlier, has been buying in hard and fast. They've opened up multiple esports arenas. They recently hosted a Capcom fighter tournament, which was very controversial, by the way. A lot of people are going we don't want our contestants traveling to Saudi Arabia to go to these things. On top of that, like I said before, we just had the comedy festival. That was a shit show. Saudi Arabia is buying into our entertainment. I want to state real quick before we get weird about this, I'm not going to sit here and bash Saudi Arabia. That's not what I'm here for. We are here to talk specifically about what this investment in American entertainment means. So I am not here to be mean-spirited or crack shitty jokes. That please don't.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this as
let's
what
not
it
make
is.
this an ethnic thing or a
Yeah, please
nationalist
do not.
thing or any
Right.
of that, right? Like this is about it just
This is about how the economy works.
Yeah, it's not even about like, oh no, foreigners are taking over the economy or any of that shit. No, it's fine. I'm great with, if all of a sudden there was a bunch of great fucking anime or something coming out of Saudi Arabia, I'd be like, oh, hey, Saudi Arabia's doing a cool thing. I wonder how they got that industry humming.
Right.
But yeah, no shade to a country or its people. Well, absolutely none of that. No xenophobia whatsoever. But there is a history of the way that that companies from this part of the world do business, and we need to talk about that.
Right. And so what you're seeing is that over the last few years, and the first time I had ever really heard about Saudi Arabia investing in American entertainment was specifically the WWE. And while I don't follow wrestling anymore, I used to a lot when I was younger. So I still kind of like have a little bit of that news that hits my feed once in a while. And a lot of that news was, hey, we're going to start hosting WWE events over in Saudi Arabia. And some wrestlers were not okay with that. And a lot of fans, because wrestling is such an American thing, which, by the way, Japanese wrestling is amazing if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But American wrestling specifically, we have a very red, white, and blue mentality about it. And so when we heard that like Saudi Arabia was going to get WWE events, there were a lot of people who said probably some pretty horrible things.
Oh, definitely.
About that happening. But
I mean, all I wanted to know was do they not watch wrestling? Did they not see like Mahone? Do they not know about the Sheik? Like
Iron Sheik is a whole different story.
Yeah,
that was
that's a
way
whole
back in
other kettle of fish we could get into.
But what we are seeing here, like we're talking about, is that Saudi Arabia is now investing in American entertainment because they know that this entertainment makes money, and it makes money at a very consistent rate, specifically the gaming industry, which kind of takes us to the crux of what I want to talk about here, which is, for years, we have been talking about all these layoffs in the industry and the unsustainable growth of the gaming industry, where CEOs are saying every quarter we got to double and triple our numbers. And if we don't do that, we have failed as a gaming organization. Go fire 1,000 people so that we can make our numbers look even bigger, even though we sold the same amount of copies. There's the American vision of infinite growth that is currently crippling the video game industry in such a way that we have to get on here and talk about the saddest fucking video game news when all we want to talk about is how much we love video games on this show.
I just want to tell you guys how much fun I'm having playing games. That's all I want.
So to answer one of the questions that I've been talking about, that I mentioned earlier, which is this a result of the unsustainable growth of the games industry? Absolutely.
Yeah, it has to be.
This deal is because of that. This is because EA said we have gotten as big as we could be as a company, and the only way we can get any bigger is to go private because we're not beholden to shareholders anymore. I think EA shareholders are getting like $200 per share is what the closing rate was.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And that's about what like Microsoft's like current value is. But I think the thing that I'm nervous about was my next question was, will we be seeing more deals like this in the future? And the reason I'm nervous about this is because we're already kind of starting to see it. Earlier in this episode, we just talked about this new game studio that came from a bunch of layoffs from Microsoft that said, we realize that being public is a hindrance to the games industry, so we made our own studio with all these great developers. So while it may not be Saudi Arabia that's buying out every games company, although I assure you they will buy more games companies.
Oh, yeah, if they
absolutely will. We are going to see more of these studios. Hell, Expedition 33 that we just talked about was a studio that was founded by somebody from Ubisoft who was tired of Ubisoft being Ubisoft, grabbed a bunch of fresh developers who are new to the games industry, grabbed a bunch of unknown talent and said, hey, we're going to make a private company that just makes an amazing game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really do think that that's the future we're going towards. I mean, the ABKs of the world and everything that isn't, just Sony or just Nintendo studios are going to have this problem, Obviously, we had Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard King, and I don't know if they'll ever make that money back. What was that? That was 60 billion, something like that, 80 billion, I forget, but it was way too much fucking money. For a studio that was no longer doing very well, Blizzard. And, for, King, who does Candy Crush, which will just continue to print money forever. And Activision, I don't know what the half-life is on Call of Duty, but I know we're on the back end of it. Yep. I know we're at the part where it goes down and not up. It's just going to keep going down. So eventually they'll figure out, oh, we need to be rescued. We need to get this thing off of us. It's dragging us down. And there will be someone with way too much money waiting in the wings going, I don't care if it makes more money every year. I just need it to keep making money. And they're happy to sell it. I'm sure all of the board at EA was happy to get their $55 billion. The massive buyout to take this shit off their hands because they're obviously not very good at it. Because all they care about is looking at the graphs and seeing if the line goes up, when what the line needs to tell you is whether or not people like what you're doing. Because that's what makes people buy things. And it feels so disconnected to talk about this because they should know that, but they don't behave as if they know that. And it's just wild to me.
So we're looking at this thing overall, this Saudi Arabia buyout of... Let's real quick, I just want to go back to this. Remember, Jared Kushner, like, what is it, fucking like Trump's nephew or something like that?
Ivanka
is the other
Trump's husband.
the other side of this fucking deal?
Yeah, his daughter's husband. Yeah, his son-in-law.
Like it's fucking weird. It
is weird. It's super weird. I mean, I know he has a lot going on with the Saudis. I mean, again, we weren't going to talk politics or 9/11 or Jamal Khashoggi or why they gave Jared Kushner $2 billion. But, we may never know. But, I mean, he definitely just got more, and he's definitely involved in this. And he seems to be some kind of unofficial liaison between the United States and Saudi Arabia. So
I think it's damage control.
Yeah,
and
probably.
While we're talking specation here, audience, that feels like damage control. We could put this white dude's name on it, and they won't see him as weird.
Yeah, and they won't just picture, the Saudi royal family just sitting there on your FIFA sports franchise,
right.
just
hey,
just
Bill
raking
Burr
in the
said
money.
the family was really nice, okay, and he pushed the envelope.
The world has just turned on Bill Burr, my friend.
He got so many more rights in that country because he did some jokes.
Oh my God.
So this is a very complicated topic because the last question that I kind of posed to everybody was, how does this impact the games industry in your eyes? But this is how do I put this? This is the product of all the shit the games industry that we've been talking about for the last several years kind of coming to roost, right? Every couple weeks we get on here on the show and we have to unfortunately talk about the layoffs in the industry and how greed is pushing the industry forward and how everything has to be more money all the time. And I get it. We live in capitalism, but like the games industry has become so disgustingly greedy that and they're doing it so openly, right? Like when you see things like we quit Overwatch because it became so grossly monetized.
Yep.
Right? And the Saudi Arabia purchase of EA has everything to do with what has happened over the last few years. Because, and this is something that Hector and I talked about in private in the car the other day, and one of the reasons that spurred this conversation was they're not looking... When Microsoft went to buy Blizzard, they looked at the numbers that Call of Duty does every year and went, well, if they make that much now, they're obviously going to make a lot more than that in the future, number-wise. So it's a good investment to pay a shit ton of money for it. I don't think that that's how the investment firms in Saudi Arabia are seeing this. They look at they're not looking for future numbers. They are looking for the current number.
Yep.
If that current number is a sustainable number to them, the purchase is worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when we're talking about EA, remember, EA is a publisher that owns multiple other companies, again, like Respawn, right? BioWare, who makes arguably some of the biggest games in the world.
Yeah.
These are games that consistently do very good numbers. And so that's what they're looking at. That's what they're looking at as their baseline. They're not looking for potential future projections. Again, I am not them, but that's what this feels like. It feels like it's a safer bet for them to go, if EA is currently making this much money and they can keep sustaining about that amount, we're good. Whereas Microsoft went, hey, Call of Duty makes this much money. What if we did more Call of Duty? And that would make more numbers, right?
Yeah. So someone make a graph of how much they've grown in the last 10 years and then map it on to the last 10 years and map it onto the next 10 years. Look at all that imaginary money we're guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah.
From 1976 to 1980, disco went up this much. Now imagine if that trend continues.
Okay. This has been a very complicated topic, and I would love to hear from all of y'all on this in the comments or send us an email or any of these things. It is a tricky topic to talk about, and I'm asking everybody to put a lot of thought into their answers for this because, again, this isn't just about the Saudis are buying us. This is the product of what has been happening over the last few years. All the things that we've been talking about on this podcast for years about how every investor is expecting exponential growth in an unrealistic way that's causing people to lose their jobs, that's causing the fucking AI bubble. All of these things are intimately connected to one another. Before we get to the epilogue, Hector, I just really want your final thoughts on this whole thing.
I wish there was a better way for the companies that I grew up loving to go private. I really do. I wish they could just buy themselves out. I know that's an impossibility once you get to a certain size because you just don't have that kind of cash on hand and you can't really just give it away even if you did to buy yourself out of the stock market. I think this will happen a lot more, and I think the talent will drain away. Unless, we see a whole bunch of very rich people buy a lot of very expensive companies and then do a lot to retain talent, I think it's inevitable that the ZeniMaxes of the world become the Sackbirds of the world. And we have a bunch of tiny studios making the Claire Obscures that we all love, or the Hades 2s, or the fact that most of the games that I've played this year that I've really loved have been indies. Silk Song, for crying out loud.
$20.
$20.
7 years of development, $20.
Yeah.
And broke the internet.
Yeah. I mean, this is... it's what I see going forward. I mean, I don't know how they will get more people to come and work for them if they suck and there is an option to go and make your own thing. I hope more of you do just have the sack of Sackbird and get out there and, believe that your own project is worth it and believe that you can get some people together and really sell a video game.
Yeah.
Because if you can... Then you're free to continue making the thing you want and making it the way you want to. And when you do make something good and not immediately being fired afterward.
Yeah, and if you want a genuine hot take from a genuine financial expert, I always share and share the video from How Money Works called The Dumbest Business Idea in History, which is all about being beholden to the stockholders and needing, legally required to make the number go up every single quarter.
Yeah, it's insane.
And it sucks because gaming is the thing, aside from film, that I've loved the most throughout my entire life. Gaming has always been there for me. It's always the thing that I've enjoyed. And the thing that's broken my heart the most doing this show for over 10 years now has been going from a podcast where we get to talk about all the really fun things that are coming out all the time to talking about the state of the industry. Now, I will say, to kind of wrap this whole thing up, I do think we are starting to turn the corner. I think that the layoffs have been hitting the industry hard and they suck, and we're still going to keep hearing about them for a little bit. But I think that what we're going to start seeing is more things, like you said, like Sackbird, where these people who got laid off form their own studios. They keep it private. They make the games that they want to make. More products like Baldur's Gate 3 and Expedition 33 are in the future for all of us. We just got to get over the corporate greed of it all. And it will always be there, but I think that the future is bright for gaming, and I am very hopeful. We just got to get through the dark ages right now that we're in. And sadly, this sign of this buyout of EA might be the first big, like, firework saying, hey, we're going to get to the end of this tunnel.
Yeah.
All right, that's everything that we have for the boss room, but stick with us as we get into what we've been playing in the epilogue.
Epilogue.
All right, welcome to the epilogue. It is time to dive into what we've been up to this week, what we've been playing, what we've been watching, what's been occupying our free time, and what has been making us happy. John, why don't we start with you?
Well, I have been eager to recently cut the cord with Disney, Hulu, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And as a result, I went on a little journey because, see, a while back, I did have the entire collection of The Simpsons, largely ripped from DVDs, but Disney Plus came around, and I'm like, you know what? I don't really need that. And plus, these are higher quality, and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so now I'm at the point again where I'm like, you know, I'm weirdly recently going through rewatching all The Simpsons, and my wife is going through and rewatching X-Files, and I'm like, you know what? If we're going to cut the cord, I'm going to have to dust off my nautical entrepreneur attire.
Yeah, got to break out the eye patch.
Yep.
So I got a VPN, and I recently stumbled across the best quality Simpsons online that I have ever found. And I'm talking, it's 4:3, but still HD.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And like, I honestly thought I was going to have to invest in some software to do some rips on Disney Plus itself. But, and weirdly, this one is actually on Archive. Ooh. And you can find it if you can use the right words and maybe add Reddit to your Google search. And it's like 300 gigs, but worth it to me.
Yeah, absolutely worth it.
And I also grabbed Tales from the Crypt. So I've just been kind of on a seafaring journey lately, grabbing some stuff and cutting the cord because it is not worth it. Like, over time, you know, you add up all those dollars and cents, and it's like, Jesus, we could have literally purchased half of these collections on DVD and Blu-ray already. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes like twice over. And so that is what I've been up to. But also, and this may sound a little strange for you gamers, I've been playing chess, or I've been relearning chess.
Okay.
And I've been relearning it through the greatest chess game, in my mind, ever made on computer.
Battle chess?
No. Chess Master Grandmaster Edition. Mm-hmm. On Xbox, I think it was like Grandmaster 10. On PC, I think it was like Grandmaster 11. Mm-hmm. Also found it on Archive because I used to own a literal Xbox disc of it. And this one is great because I actually have chess games on Steam, like these master VR versions or whatever, with tutorials. All the tutorials are in text. So you literally just have to read about all the moves.
Okay.
There's some really great YouTube videos going out literally within the last couple of months about the amount of rampant cheating in chess.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, the version I have, the Grandmaster Edition that was on Xbox that now I have on my PC, it literally has a voiceover tutorial that walks you through chess by none other than Josh, I'm afraid to pronounce his last name, Weitz. The guy who the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer was based on.
Oh, okay.
And he literally speaks you through every move. He's like, "Oh yeah, and here's the move that we did at the very end of the movie. You think that the black piece is going to change out first, but really it's this piece that has advantage." And he just walks you through how every piece moves. He gives you these exercises, and you can get that same lesson from different chess masters giving you voiceover. And so I've just been going through this old school PC chess game, relearning chess, because it is, again, the best chess game I have ever found.
Fucking nerd.
Right on.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, Hector, what have you been up to?
Oh, man. Well, as you may or may not know, Ghost of Yote released.
I knew that.
I am having an absolutely wonderful time with it. All I can say is that if you liked Ghosts of Tsushima, you will love Ghosts of Yote. It is that and more of it. We see the return of Kurosawa mode, which puts everything in black and white and makes it mimic your favorite films. We also have a mode by Takashi Miike mode, which brings the camera in a little bit and makes everyone squirt double or triple the blood and be covered in mud. And today, dear listener, I discovered Watanabe mode, which changes parts of the soundtrack for lo-fi so that you can wander around this absolutely gorgeous, indescribably gorgeous video
Holy
game.
shit, I'm playing the trailer right now. And
With this is just some incredible, beautiful lo-fi. Just playing
Hector,
over it.
we're going to be there soon.
We're going to be there very soon. Every time I stop at an onsen in the game, I'm like, that's going to be me.
with malls and LED lights.
With balls and
Doesn't
LED
matter.
lights, absolutely doesn't matter. Still, having an incredible time with the game. Again, probably one of the most beautiful games ever made. If I had a critique, it's that it is too safe of a sequel. But when you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in development for a game, for 5-6 years. I get why they would do that. I don't necessarily approve, but I get it. And because I like the first one so much and this one iterates just enough to make me not feel like I'm playing the exact same game, I'm here for it.
That's
I am.
basically how I felt about Death Stranding too.
Yep.
Like I was like, oh, it's great. I love it. A little too safe, but like it's its own genre, so enjoy. All right. Anything else?
That's it for me.
That's it for you. Okay. So on my side of the world, what have I been up to over the last few weeks? Playing a lot of Hades 1 on my Steam Deck. Getting ready for Hades 2.
Is it not out yet?
It is out.
Hades 2 1.0 has hit, but I never actually got the real ending of Hades 1.
Oh.
I got the credit roll, but there's a big epilogue where you get the family together. If you know, you know. And so that's what I had been working on. I actually got that yesterday. So that was pretty cool. Now I'm kind of doing like a little bit of cleanup on some achievements. Just one of the reasons for this is it's been a rough last few weeks. I've been watching Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney+. By the way, if you have not seen Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney+, it is the new animated Spider-Man series. It is not connected to the MCU. It is an elsewhere. It is a what if. It is the story I wished they used for Tom Holland, by the way. This is a 10-episode series that is so good, and all the cameos are so good. You get Nico from The Runaways as Peter Parker's best friend. Norman Osborn knows that he's Spider-Man.
Aw.
The way that he gets bitten instead of the typical Spider-Man way where he goes to a weird science experiment and a spider happens. The series opens up with Parker going to college, his first day at college. A strange portal opens up. A venom-like creature drops through it with Strange fighting it. Strange flings him and the creature back into the portal, but in the portal drops a spider that gets Peter Parker, and that's how the change happens. And they don't spend time on the whole backstory. It's a show that assumes how it goes.
We don't need the spider's origin story.
Right. We just got, this is how he got bit. He's in college. Go.
Nerd question.
Yep.
Favorite Spider-Man penciler artist?
Oh man, that's tricky, man. So many good people have worked on Spider-Man.
Come on, there's only one.
No, for
only
you,
one.
for you, there's only one. I've read Spider-Man my whole life. There's so many good ones.
I'm saying if you had to only pick one.
Oh man, I don't know. And I have to think about runs when it comes to Spider-Man, because when you talk about Spider-Man, yes, you have the overall runs that you talk
God.
about, but so you can say like the McFarlane run, that's where we got Venom, right? Like that's where we get things like Carnage.
That is where he first
right?
became sexy, but I think Bagley perfected it.
But like then you get things like the Chip Zdarsky mini run of Spider-Man. There was a thing called Spider-Man Life Story. It was actually like a 4 or 5 issue series where it was Spider-Man taking place in real time. So Spider-Man starting in, I want to say, the 1960s through the early 2000s, literally American history happened as Spider-Man was a part of it. And it goes to some dark places because Zdarsky can just fucking do that. But Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, it's on Disney Plus. Please watch it. It's got a banger of a soundtrack, by the way. That intro theme is so good just by itself.
Hector, do you have a favorite Spider-Man artist?
No, I've never been much of a comic book kid.
Too cool for school. Moving on.
I'm the one who's been teaching Hector about comics. I buy Hector comics all the time.
Oh, yeah?
I buy him the important ones.
My wife doesn't buy me any comics.
I buy my wife Hector comics
Ever.
like Superman versus the KKK.
Hell yeah, that shit was amazing.
Mouse,
I got the first the first book of Mouse, and then that was amazing too.
Yep.
Yeah. The only other comics I own, like I own the big compendium of
Hawkeye.
Of X-Men. Oh yeah, and I have the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run, which is also incredible.
Yeah. Basically, I buy comics for Hector and I hand them to him, and he says, "Yes, please." And then he goes, "I like what you have presented me with," and I'm like, "Well, here's more."
I love to sit with a drink, in the at night on my couch and read a comic. It's a wonderful experience.
Oh, I can't wait to get you into the absolute DC universe.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for those first trade paperbacks. I'll probably get I don't know, all of them.
Yeah, they're going to be so good. The last thing I want to talk about is, well, real quick, I've been watching Interview with the Vampire Season 2. I started that yesterday. It's on Netflix. That show is so good. It is, and I say this as somebody who did grow up reading those books, better.
Okay, yeah. No, I don't think that's that hard.
It is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I grew up as somebody who played Vampire the Masquerade, and Vampire the Masquerade very much based on these books. As somebody who loved nothing, like I was the kid, and I tell this story all the time, but like my mom had to like stop getting me to be Dracula for Halloween because that's like all I ever wanted to be was Dracula. My mom raised me on vampire media. She took me to the original Interview with the Vampire movie.
Nice.
She handed me the books to read.
I did love that first movie.
I grew up with these things. This show is better.
Wow.
It tackles much more serious issues. It definitely leans way more into the subtext of the books. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I will say my favorite review of the first movie ever was Norm Macdonald, SNL, where he's like, should have been gayer.
It is.
Yeah, it
This
really should
show,
have been.
100 times gayer, and it's so much better for it.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I was binging last night. The last thing I want to talk about is
Toxic Avenger.
We didn't even mention that. Let's
Yeah.
do that real quick.
Yeah, so Toxic Avenger. We watched that last night with our friends for movie night.
Yep.
That's the new Toxic Avenger starring Peter Dinklage.
Yep. Fucking Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, and Kevin fucking Bacon. And Elijah.
Yeah, Elijah Wood.
Elijah
isn't it?
Wood. Man, was this movie fun. And
Where is it?
It's everywhere now.
It's everywhere. It's available on video
and remember,
on demand.
if you buy it on video on demand, your dollars go to pay off people's medical debt.
Ooh.
Yep. And yeah, can't recommend the movie enough. If ever a movie has known exactly what the fuck it is this movie. And it never apologizes for it. It never winks at you for sitting through its stupid gore.
Nope.
It is just happy to present it to you and hopes you laugh when the weird, funny shit happens. And I did. I did it so much. Man, this movie was fun. Dinklage was great, doing a great performance. Like Kevin Bacon, obviously, Elijah Wood, but all of the other actors, all of the like B-list actors,
many penises.
you wouldn't know. Penises everywhere.
Watch the uncut version. You need
Do watch the uncut version.
You'll see at least 2 dongs.
Yeah, and what my favorite line has to be, hey, okay, look, I am not a pervert, all right? Now, I need you to turn around so I can piss on my face.
It was so good. Oh, I hadn't laughed that hard in a very long time. And that's the best part of the uncut version, because in the original theatrical release, they did not include the face peeing scene, which is very important to the movie.
They didn't show you the Toxic Avenger's penis, which
Right.
is frankly a whole subplot.
Yep, it is a whole subplot about what that penis do be doing.
Yep, because
So
why
please,
else would you want to?
Please go watch it, and I will encourage you to buy it on video on demand.
Yeah. Buy it from whoever. Just
Yep.
pay money for it, because you will be helping someone else pay off their medical debt.
Yep.
And that feels good.
It is. Okay, so when we talk about the epilogue, we talk about what we've been watching, what we've been playing, what's been occupying our free time, and what has been making us happy. I want to start on a kind of a serious note here. It's been a rough few weeks for me. Obviously, I've talked about the fact that my job shuttered its doors. It's been really rough in the tech market out there in Austin. Doing the best I can to get up every morning and have a cup of coffee and get to applying, but man, it can
Fucking wears you down.
fucking wears you down.
And the media space.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's one of those things that we are about 2.5 weeks out from you and I going to Japan.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you who don't know me personally, has been a dream of mine since I was a very little kid.
Bucket list.
Big bucket list item. And what should be the most joyous experience of my life has now become one of the most stressful experiences of my life, because I'm trying to get employed and make sure that I have enough money to A, go on the trip, and B, make sure that all my bills are paid. And it's hard. It can be hard mentally. And I know this is not the type of podcast that we have, but the other day it was one of those things that I was thinking about where I just had to accept the fact that sometimes it's okay to not be okay. Mm-hmm. As long as I don't let it consume me. It's okay to have bad days and be a little sad. It's been a little rough, like I said, just trying to work my way through the complications of the current tech world. Again, exponential growth causing problems. Mm-hmm. But also staring down the barrel of this vacation that should be the happiest time of my life. And I know that it's going to be okay once we get there, and we're going to have a good time. So to kind of wrap the sad part of this up, what's been making me happy this week is it's been my friends. It's been having John and Hector here to do the podcast. It's been all the feedback we've been getting recently from people who have recently tuned into the show, as well as people who've been watching and listening for a long time. The things that y'all have been saying, the positive messages that we've been getting about the quality improving of our show and new people finding us thanks to all the things that John's been doing has really meant the world to me. And so it's weird to be like, here's me shilling my show has been making me happy, but legitimately, as hard as this stuff has been, doing the show has never been hard, because I am here with my friends and getting to do the thing that I've been doing for 10 plus years. And now more people are listening to us, and more people are seeing us, and more people are giving us feedback saying they like what we're doing. And so, also all of you have been making me happy. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Hear, hear.
Thank you.
Okay. Enough of the sappy shit. That's everything that we have for the show this week. Don't forget that you can head over to goodnight.gg to become a patron of our show for only $1. You can head over to facebook.com/GNGGcast, where you can chat with us, as well as at GNGGcast on Twitter, and goodnight.gg on Blue Sky to talk to me directly. But until next time, for Hector, this is James.
And for James, this is Hector.
And for you, this is me.
Everyone, good night.
And good game.